All right, definitely not something I normally do at the start of a video, but I just want to mention to you guys how amazing my sister is at doing makeup. I can't do makeup to save my life. My sister can do this in like minutes. And when I say minutes, I literally mean minutes. I can't. I can't. I don't have the patience. I do not have the ability. Hello, everybody. My name's Rebecca, and welcome back to My Bookish Travels. Today, I am so excited to bring you my mid-year breakdown. It's not even funny. When it comes to talking about my tracking and different numbers for my books, it makes me so excited. It's not even funny. So if this is something that you guys are very excited to hear about, then feel free to stick around. Today, I'm going to be sharing a number of the trackings that I previously shared with you on things that I like to track, but I'm also going to be sharing some newer ones that I actually haven't shared before with anybody here on YouTube. And it's more so because I don't want to seem like I'm sharing this to be proud of what I have. It's more the fact that I want to be really real and honest with you guys. This has been a number of years in the making, and I am definitely hitting a goal where I'm trying to dwindle this list down on my own. So obviously the things that you're aware of that I was tracking previously are the star ratings. I was tracking the different types of books I was reading, from standalones to first book in a series, completed series, rereads. I also am going to share with you an update on my 10-10, the 10 genres. I want to read 10 books in each. But some of the new ones I'm going to share with you are the 25 goal, which is to read 25 books out of each format that I read in, for hardcover, paperback, audio, and ebook. I'm also going to share with you an update on how many of the books I have read thus far that I have hauled in 2021. And I am also going to be sharing with you my breakdown from my TBR and my reread books. And not only am I going to give you the massive number, but I'm also going to break it down into, again, each format for hardcover, paperback, ebook, and audio. So those new ones are a little bit scarier to share because I feel like I don't want somebody being like, I cannot believe it got that out of hand. Well, again, please know that there were a number of years that I have been growing and building this collection. It's not just something that happened overnight, but again, it does include ones that I want to reread, as well as ones that are just sitting on my shelf that I haven't read as of yet. So, with that breakdown being done and over with, let's jump into the breakdown. So the first breakdown that I'm going to give is going to be for the 10-10 goal. So I'm going to again list what the genre is, how I am doing percentage-wise, and with that percentage, you'll obviously realize how many books I have left to read in each of those genres. So for self-help, I am 60% done. Fantasy, I am 30% done. I have 7 more to go, and I've actually really enjoyed a lot of the fantasy that I have been delving into this year. Young adult, obviously not a hard genre for me to read. I have 80% complete on this genre. Romance, I am 40% of the way through. I have religious, I am 20% done my goal for the year. I still have 8 more to read, but again, this genre is not one that you necessarily want to be rushing through. Children, again, another easy genre for me to read. I am 60% of the way through. I have 4 more books to read, and again, when it comes to children or middle grade, I can get through those extremely fast. True crime, I am 60% of the way through. I have comics and manga. Obviously, I have completed this goal. Actually, I have exceeded this goal. I have read 11 out of the 10 that I had a goal for, so this has been completed. Fairy tales, I am 50% of the way through. I have 5 more books to go, and then this is completed. The last genre is classics. I am not doing the greatest at this. I've only done 10%. I have 9 more books to read in this genre. So for the star ratings this year, I'm actually pretty impressed. For 1-star and 2-star, I have 8 each. For the 3-star, I have 6. For 4 stars, I have 7. And when it comes to 5 stars, I actually have 24, which is not too shabby. Comes to the style of what I'm reading, I find this very interesting because the breakdown is a little bit different than what I expected. Books, I've actually read 12 this year. For series where it falls under, anywhere between the second book and the second to last book in a series, I've only read 6. Definitely expecting more in the series than in the first book, so I'm a little bit disappointed in myself when I look at that number in general. The definite win on this list is the standalone reading that I'm doing this year. I actually have read 22 standalone books, which I really like to see. Series, I actually have 5 on that list, and when it comes to rereads, I have 8. All in all, I can definitely say that seeing that I've read less of the series than the new series I have started, I am disappointed with that number, but in general, I'm pretty impressed with how I am reading. When it comes to the standalone, it's definitely the standout, no pun intended, in this section, but I feel like everything else, because it's so close in the numbers, I'm pretty impressed with how I'm looking at it in a standpoint of my reading. Moving on to one of the portions that I was not actually talking about earlier this year that I am taking part in trying to force myself to pay attention to is my 25 goal, which is 25 books in each format that I can read the books, from hardcover, paperback, audio, and ebook. And I'm pretty impressed with what I'm seeing so far. It is making me more cautious of how I'm reading my books because I definitely know that there are some that are standing out more than others. Books, I am 48% through my goal. I was not expecting to see such a high number when you think that I've actually read 12 of the 25 books that I hope to audiobooks. I am 80% of the way through. I have read 20 of my goal of 25. Audiobooks are definitely the way that I've been reading more this year, which is quite surprising when I definitely tell people I am more of a physical paper reader than an audio or ebook reader. But I think with my work schedule and with cleaning, I'm actually doing more in the format of listening than physically sitting down and reading from a physical book. When it comes to hardcover, I'm only 28% of the way through my goal. I have read 7 of the 25 books that I have set myself to read this year. Back, I am 32% of the way through. I've read 8 of the 25. So as you can tell, I definitely am getting through these books, but I'm reading the physical less than I'm actually getting through the digital and audio formats, which I definitely did not see coming. It makes me surprised because I'm pretty positive that I have seen a shift in the last year or two from physical to digital and audio, and I never thought that would be a bigger thing for me, but apparently it is. And I can't say that it's a bad thing. I'm still getting reading in, but I definitely am starting to, with being aware of this, miss my physical reading more. Moving on to the new books. If you guys have not seen the book haul that I posted a few months ago, I ended up hauling 8 books, and that was 25% done this list thus far because I have read 2 out of the 8 books on the list. What's really great is this list will continue to grow if I continue to purchase books or audio line with it growing, but I also want this number of what I have read to continue to increase no matter if this list continues to increase for new books that I haul this year. Again, though, if you guys are curious about what books are showing in that haul, feel free to click the link and you guys can go and check out that video. Break down into a very interesting area that I have never shared here before. And part of it is because I'm a little bit ashamed of this number. But the other part is, again, I don't want people thinking that I'm bragging about this. It is something that, again, I work hard for my money, and I maybe did not spend as much time saving it as I should have. I spent it in the gratification of purchasing these books. So for myself, I actually have currently on my list of to be read and rereads. I started off the year with 2,045 books on that list. I have currently read 2% of those books overall this year. Right now, what I'm looking at on that list is 1,998 books. And again, I want to reiterate the fact that this is not only books that I have purchased that I have not read, but this is also books that I want to reread, or books that I have multiple editions of that I know I'm going to be reading the different editions of because I'm just weird like that and I'm fine with it. But that's a large number. That's a very large number to have started this year, and it definitely opened my eyes in the fact that I really have been more selective on, should I buy that book? Or do I want to buy books? Why don't I go shopping in my own books instead? So it definitely has changed my focus from purchasing to looking at what I have already. This down to kind of explain it a little bit more for you guys. For my Kindle books, I've actually read 2% of what I have on that list so far. At 433 books on that. I have taken that number down to 421 books. Not that bad, actually. Some of them, my Audible app. I'm actually 34% of the way done the books on my app because I started off the year with 58 unread books, and that was between books gone down to 38 unread, which I think is pretty fantastic. As I said, I have been getting through Audible a little bit more than I normally would, and it's nice to see this number going down because it is a pretty attainable goal when you think that I am going and reading a lot more on my Audible app than I was previously. Audiobooks. I actually have 6 audiobooks that are actually sitting on my shelf. So I'm not talking about the Audible app. I mean like physical box sets of audio CDs for a book. And I have 6 of these and I just haven't listened to them. So that's something that I think is pretty attainable to get that completely off my list this year. I just haven't done one that is showing a 0%, the same cover goal. Now, this is kind of shocking because I know I haven't read that many, but when you guys hear how many hardcovers I have on my shelf that are sitting waiting to be appreciated, it's going to shock you. 769 hardcover books. I have taken that down to 762, but that's still a massive amount of hardcover books. As I said, paperback goals. This one, though, is actually saying I'm 1% done, which is nice to see, but still not the best when you think about where the numbers are. 779 books, and I've taken it down to 771 books. So again, very high goal. Definitely not something I'm going to achieve fully this year. But as you can tell, for paperbacks and hardcovers, I do have quite a few that are just waiting for appreciation to take place, and I definitely want to focus on that more. So as I said, this year I wanted to be a little bit more realistic with myself, and I wanted to be really raw with you guys because if you guys feel overwhelmed by things and you definitely don't know how to achieve them, sometimes it's the acceptance, sharing it, and then saying, how am I going to resolve this so it's not something that is just sitting there and just taking up space but isn't being accomplished. So that's why today I wanted to be very real with you guys when it came to my goals. Not just sharing what I wanted to achieve for my numbers for the year, but also sharing the overall picture of why I track my reading. and why I am trying so hard to not purchase as many books and to read through what I have. Because the books that I own, I bought because I appreciated something about them and I wanted to read them. But with them just sitting on the shelf and me continuing to collect more, I become less of a book collector and less of a book reader. And I become more and more of a person that just has these objects in my house that I can't really talk about because I don't know much more than the synopsis or the author. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this very real talk. I definitely was not expecting to spend almost 30 minutes sitting here talking to you guys about it all, but I do know that when I edit this, hopefully Rebecca in the future does not hate me as much as I'm thinking I'm going to hate me right now. So feel free in the comments down below to get real about your reading and share with me where you're at for your mid-year goal. Are you happy with where you're at? Have you seen where there's certain gaps that you'd like to work on? And most important, if you guys have a massive amount of books that you have on your TBR that you want to read and you just don't feel like you're going to attain it, it's just one day at a time. You're not going to be reading 8 million books in one day. As much as that would be fantastic to be able to do that, that would be a fantastic, fantastic superpower. It's not something that you're going to attain in one day. So keep at it and you will achieve wondrous things. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you then. Bye, guys.